This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesianicristo.
Welcome to INC Radio Oregon, where our brethren from different parts of Oregon, Washington, California, Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming greet you. Come get to know all of our brethren from the Ecclesiastical District of Oregon and explore our activities, experiences, and sceneries. This is Oregon.
Hello and welcome to INC Radio Oregon. We thank you so much for sharing your precious afternoon time with us, or your morning, or your evening, that is. We hope that you will enjoy our topic, our discussion today. And so um, we're just glad to have you here today. And I am your host, Flo Guillermo from the local congregation of Vancouver. And our topic today is next steps, college and career. And so, for all of us there in the live chat, which I am so happy to see everyone already chiming in there. And so we encourage everyone to participate in the discussion by sharing your feedback and your comments. And if you have any questions for us, please feel free to jot them down in the live chat, and we'll get those um, for you. And if we are not able to answer them at this episode, we'll make sure to do a part 2 episode regarding that, and hopefully get to cover your questions. And remember to hashtag your local congregation or group worship service there, or if you have a combination of both, go ahead and do that. We'd like to know where you're coming from, especially for those that's joining us from the different districts. And let us know where you're coming from, because we're interested and we're happy that you're with us sharing your time. And so, our topic discussion comes at a very timely moment for all of us, our audience, for anyone that's thinking about their college um, decisions or their career decisions. And so our path. Oh, hold on. We I want to call on our panelist who's joining us here first before I let let's dive into our topic discussion. So, um, it's none other than our sister Janice Dela Cruz. So, hi, Sister Janice. How are you?
Hi, Ate Flo. I'm good. Thank you so much for asking. I
Yeah,
just, um, I
go
just
ahead.
wanted to say hi also to the Medford Group Worship Service members. I know we just had our service this morning, but it's always so nice to be with you folks.
Yeah. I love that you're here with us. Like last week, you were here with us. So again, thank you for sharing your time, your knowledge with us. And so we're really really excited. And so I just wanted to just say that our pathways will look different depending on your situation, your and your overall goals. And we all have unique timelines. Just keep in mind that. Whichever path you choose, this is important. It's important to let our Almighty God help you make these important decisions. So, in our in our episode today, we will review the advantages and difficulties associated with different pathways and how to set yourself up for success, no matter your chosen path. And so, we come to you with our experiences. We share whatever knowledge that has come with us through our lifetime. And we'd like to share that to you. So there's no wrong or right. The most important thing, like I said earlier, is that we keep God in our path to help us make these decisions. And so, Sister Janice comes to us with an extensive background in helping students make college and career decisions. So uh, she is more than willing to help all of you out there in the audience. And if you need to reach out to her, you can let me know or let your resident minister know, and they'll let me know as well or direct the questions over to Sister Janice. And so we're going to go with our live chat question number 1. So if we can have our Kuya text post up our first question to all of you. And we just want everyone to, warm up to our conversation only because we love to hear what's going on there in our live chat and what's our thinking there. So Kuya text when you're ready to post up live chat question number 1. There we go. Woohoo. So, would you rather, would you rather study for an exam briefly or plan a long cram session the night before? And so I want to just let you all know that these would you rather questions for you have no wrong or no right answers. It's really up to you as an individual. And so, again, you want to study for an exam briefly or you want a long cram session the night before. Okay. So, Sister Janice, let's kind of go back to when we were in high school and college. How did you know, prepare for something for an exam? Did you like, oh, hurry up and do something and try and figure out how to get everything in your brain, or do you just do a long cram session at night?
I always have to have a long cram session. I just feel like I'm so much more productive at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I do prepare for my cram session. I remember like making note cards and rewriting my notes if needed ahead of time, but I always needed to have that one night of cram before my exams just to make sure that any last minute understandings or questions that I needed to get clarified,
Yeah.
that ends up happening before the exam.
Yeah. So, all right, Kuya Text, we can take down that slide and we'll try and get some answers there from our live chat. Um, for me, when I was back in high school, I I did do a little bit of both. When I didn't time manage myself at that time. So if I knew I was doing an exam the next day, I would like skim through my notes, hoping and praying that I get all my answers correctly. However, when it's an exam that's like long and hard, um, that it requires a lot of brain work. And of course, everything requires brain work, right? I would do that long cram session too. So, but I think for me, I think it's important to know your subject from the get-go, right? And and do, I guess, a little bit of study sessions with yourself through the whole time before that leads up to your exam. All right, good question, good answers. And then of course, the next live chat question we have there: would you rather continue your training or your education after high school, or you want to go back to the workforce? So um, one of those. Would you rather um, do that? So we have that question already up. And before, So we're going to have them think about what they're wanting to do. Are they going to just go into education, training after high school, or go to work? Because it really, really depends. Um, depends on your situation at the time. What did you do after high school, Sister Janice?
I definitely wanted to go straight into college because I just saw so many statistics about how hard it was to take a break between high school and college. But I mean, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people do prefer that as well. But for myself, I knew to keep up the momentum that I was at. Like I didn't want to lose the information that I had gained through high school to make that transition into college easier. So I went straight into college after high school.
I did the same thing right after high school, and I told myself I really want to get into already what I want to do in life. Um, I attended business school, and instead of the 4-year college. So it really depends on your situation, who you are really, and I really wanted to get on with life, and so I went through business school twice, and so w- that's what I did, and then I went into the workforce eventually. So. All right, we're gonna back up a little bit with some with our first live chat question. Brother Jess said, "I never believe in cramming, so either you already know the material or not. If not, ask to meet with your professors or your teaching assistants and get clarification." Right, I love that. Let's see. Brother Andrew from INCRadio, Virginia. Thank you, Paul. Let's see, what was he answering us now on the second one? Yeah. Um, on the second question, right? To save money after high school, get you 2-year associate's degree and transfer for a university and get a bachelor's degree and go from there. So it really, really depends on what everyone is doing at that time and moment and what is good for you, right? um and then last live chat question. So Kuya text, let's have that last live chat question up there. All right, so uh would you rather have a job with flexible hours or a structured work schedule? What is your preference, Sister Janice?
I've actually worked jobs with both.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, when I had a flexible work schedule, it had its advantages for sure, especially over the weekends, and being able to work early in the morning, so my evenings were free to attend church activities and things like that. But now that I have a structured hourly job, I feel like I have more of a set schedule, and I really do enjoy that better because now I have a good sense of what needs to get done every day versus having to always think about like managing my time a lot better.
Yeah, I think when you're having flexibility, you have I mean, it's nice to go into work when you want to or done with work when you want to. But sometimes you can kind of lose the focus of what you really want to do, right? Or or what really is the assignment of work. He's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. However, that to-do list is important too. But for me, I rather have a structured work schedule. And only because I know when I'm going in, I know when my day starts, and I know when my day ends. And I'm fortunate that our work gives us what we need to accomplish for the day. So it's pretty much a structured day for me. And so, yeah, I prefer a structured day. All right. Let's see. Anyone else wanting to tell us what they're thinking about our live chat question? So, um, let us know. And you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and say hello to our live chat audience there. So thank you so much for being with us in our program today. So our first honor today is Brother Albertson Makalintal. And so he says, happy viewing po to everyone. He's our assistant resident minister in the local congregation of Vancouver. So thank you so much. And then we also have Vancouver supporting Sister Jasmine Gutierrez, Sister Melissa Balan from Oregon City, Sister Morietta Miller from Medford Group Worship Service, Sister Rachel Cruz from Beaverton. Good to see a good variety of our brethren joining us, and Sister Geraldine Langit, one of our um, hosts here. Uh, she's excited for what you have to share with us today, Sister Janice. Also, our brother Paulo Acuesta. Um, he's our multimedia advisor as well as the resident minister over there in Albany, Roseburg Group Worship Service, and Eugene Group Worship Service. So please invite all those that you know. He's encouraging everyone who, especially our Kadiwa members who are 18 years old and above and single. They're, they have a lot of things that's going on in their minds right now in terms of trying to make their decision. Sister Catlea from New Jersey, Brother Rod Reyes, our resident minister there in Vancouver, Brother Andrew Wynn from uh, Ecclesiastical District of Virginia. I saw Brother Romel Arlos, as well as Brother Romel Arlos is from Hillsboro, Sister Priscilla Batan, waving and saying hello from Rizal there in the Philippines. So good morning there, very early morning. All right, and I want to read everyone, but we need to get into our questions, our topic today. So I'll get back to our live chatters in a bit. All right, we make big decisions, very big decisions in, our pathway. Our pathway has a lot to do with, what we're taking on in our lives. But I just wanted to point out early on in our conversation today with Sister Janice is that it's so important to include God. Let him be the driver of what your pathway is going to be like, what you are thinking. Talk to him and let him know. So Sister Janice, for all of us, and share with us, how do you know when the best path, especially after high school, because it's a big decision time for all of us. So I'm gonna let you think on that. Just letting you know that we have different interests, we have so much information out there. We need to be also very, very um, attentive to what we're looking at in terms of our information. And of course, we have wonderful resources as well, our brethren and officers that's around us. What's your take on that, Sister Janice?
When, especially for high school students, thinking about what they're going to do in terms of their college and career is actually one of the biggest decisions that they're going to make, and one of their first decisions as young adults. So it's actually a very important topic that we're talking about right now, because we're going to be having winter break soon. So if those of you who are in school, you'll probably have a few extra weeks that are free. So it's really important for you to start thinking about what your next steps are, so you're ready for what happens in January as well. So when we were talking about, our next steps, like after high school, or one of the things I like to share is that there's a few pathways that many of us choose between. And one of the brethren earlier talked about possibly going into a 2-year college first to save some money and then transfer into a 4-year university. I think that's a fabulous idea, especially because for 2 years, you're actually taking the same core courses, oftentimes that you're going to have to take for your 4-year university or college experience. Another option for a career path would be start off first with a trade school or vocational school, because that usually requires less schooling. Others decide to go directly into the workforce, whether it's to work for someone else or maybe to perhaps become an entrepreneur. And then some others may choose to serve in the military or even join the ministry as well for our brothers in the church. So there's a lot of different options. And one of the things that you need to really focus on in the next coming weeks, whether you're in high school or if you're in college right now, is finding out what your next steps are and making sure that it always starts with a prayer and asking God for guidance and help. Because if you do that, then you're going to be able to find a lot more success and continuing to make good decisions in what pathway and what your next steps are going to be.
I know there's so much out there for us, so many options, but you know, it's it can get overwhelming, right? To make these biggest decisions because these are decisions that you make for in your life. And so when you're looking for the looking out for the different paths that you've mentioned as well, I think one of the best things is when you're looking out there, especially in the internet, when you're researching, um, it's okay to check out all of those, and but we need to just have the right mindset of what we're really looking for ourselves. Is it gonna is that gonna hinder me? Is that gonna hinder me from my worship? Is that gonna hinder me from doing my duties? So those are the questions you're wanting to ask yourself. And let's not discount also, right, Sister Janice, the brethren around us, those that you've seen, those who are your role models. Have you gone that route, Sister Janice, when it comes to role models?
Oh yeah, for sure. When I think about all the years that I spent helping with college and career advice as a guidance advisor, I think about so many of the young Ben Heat that came and approached me about, what are their next steps going to be because they're interested in going to college, but I lived in Hawaii before coming here, so moving away from home, like we called it the mainland, moving to the continental U.S. it's a really difficult choice for a lot of our
Hmm.
our members because again they're away from home, but they also have to make sure that they are able to find a locale or a group worship service near them as well. So understanding like how do I really weigh my options is one of the things that I like to help out with. And then understanding, what's really important to you and how can you make sure that you incorporate your faith in that decision too. Is where I'm going to go to college going to allow me to attend service regularly? Is it going to allow me to continue my duties? Being able to make sure I have transportation and making sure that I have the support that I need so that you can find educational success as well as spiritual success is really important.
Yes. Speaking of support, Sister Janice, I just wanted to point out that when we're seeking support from those that we can see face to face, or even we need to call them, let's make sure that they are the ones who has the best interest for you. When they have the best interest for you, then you'll know that they will want to see you succeed, and and you'll know that they care about you in making sure that you succeed in everything that you do as well. So it's okay to go and see people that you know, and you see them around in um at the place of worship, or in your congregation. It's good to see to talk to them as well because you've seen them go through what they're going through as well. So yeah, that's important to do that as well. So Sister Janice, how will we know that we've made that right decision? How do we know that? For me, like, as long as I know that I'm doing what is right for God, then I've made that right decision. For what can you share or express about this? What they made, if you made that right decision, especially for our young members of the Church of Christ, and for those young members, young listeners out there.
So, like we mentioned earlier, deciding what you want to do for your college and career it's a really important decision. And some of us may feel like overwhelmed by having to make that decision at such a young age. But keep in mind that many of us will go on multiple pathways, meaning that some of us will go into a college seeking a specific degree, but end up wanting to change our careers later. And that's okay too. Like, keep in mind that we all have um, different goals in life, and we also have different focuses and interests, but also that as humans, we continue to grow and we continue to experience new things. And sometimes being able to be flexible with that is actually a strength. And that's one of the ways that you can continually find success. When you put your faith in God and allow room for you to incorporate every aspect of your spirituality into each decision that you make, that's only going to all the more make sure that you find success in whatever you do. Like, you'll find when you have made a good decision that not only are you able to continue on in your services and in your duties, but everything falls into place and you find a place of peace and comfort, knowing that you still are able to attend church. And, sometimes we stumble along the way, but it's important for you to always get back to um, what can you do to make sure that your faith is a priority for yourself. And with that, then you'll always find success. Oh, sorry, I think
Oh,
you're muted.
speaking of success, um, it could mean a lot of things, right? You could have the best jobs with a high paying job, or you went to a college that is very prestigious. And 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 just so you know, it's okay to have all of those. However, it's the one thing is that, but the best thing is to strike a balance when you put yourself there, making your faith as a priority, and yet you had all of the great jobs and all the uh, the best school that you went to, and you have uh, good paying jobs. Okay, um, when God sees that you put your faith first, all of those will come into play, and you will be able to strike a balance. And when God saw that you're doing that for the sake of your duty and your faith, God will pour out those blessings for you, because then you probably have the extra time and the extra resources, the extra finance resources that you're able to help in performing your duties, right, Sister Janice? That is, I think there's a balance to all of that. And if you can make sure that you have that, then all the more you'll feel that success from God. So is there any other aspects that or areas that in life that you can improve on?
I think when we think about like aspects of our life, we talked about it in our last show as well. When we think about our spirituality as something that needs to be a priority, we start to think about, how we live our life on a daily basis and the type of person that we want to be as we grow up and as we develop as adults. And I think that when we really focus on our faith and being able to be in touch with the type of faith that we want to share with others as well, we become stronger as members of the Church of Christ too, because we live up to that expectation for ourselves and we find joy in it. And by doing so, we're going to be able to really become the person that not only other people can look up to, but that you can be proud of yourself. Like, being able to have a strong faith and allow your faith to dictate like your actions in life. That's so very, very powerful, because you will always know that you're on the right path. And that's something that I had to learn the hard way. Oftentimes,
Yeah.
growing up, we make mistakes. So it's important for us to refocus ourselves as well.
I would say yes. Sometimes you go through mistakes, right? Those are for me. Those are like learning moments, and so we need to keep in mind, and that's an avenue for us to grow and learn even learn more about ourselves, right? So before we continue on with our discussion, I just wanted to go back and say hello to those who are there, still supporting us there from in our live chat. So just wanted to say hello to brother, or actually Sister Melissa Yaneza from Hillsboro, and Sister Carol Villanueva from Beaverton, Sister Ruth Ruchi from Albany, Sister Lonnie from Long Island City and the District of New York, Brother Michael De Jesus, all the way out there from District of Micronesia. I know they have a different time zone, but we appreciate that you're here with us as well. Sister Louisa Ledesma from Vancouver, um, Sister Carolyn Shank there from Sacramento, Northeast California. Thank you. She's saying hello to us. Sister Melinda Pizarro, Hillsboro. Um, okay, I see some answers from Brother Romel Arlos. He says, just kind of backtracking a little bit. He says, structured hours works well for him so that I can plan ahead of time, especially, yes, I agree with that, Brother Romel, especially when we have duties and worship service to attend to. Also, Sister Rachel Samia there in Great Falls. Hello, Sister Rachel. Let's see. Brother Andrew Wynn says, pray and ask yourself, when and where will I be able to attend worship service and perform my duties? So that's in the lines of figuring out where you want to go and attend college, or where, especially where you want to live also. That's very, very important. Good point for that. Hello to Brother Nerio Kitoriano, all the way there from Great Falls as well in Montana. Brother Nathaniel Russell, Worth, Texas, in the District of South Central States. And Brother Danny J. Angeles from Hillsboro and St. Helens. He's the resident minister of those local congregation and group worship service as well. All right. So this is kind of like a hot question, because we go through this a lot, and we're in any part of our life we do. And so what if, for ourselves, we find ourselves not motivated anymore? Well, how do, and we're like, I don't know what path, or even if you're on that path and you're not really motivated anymore, what do we do, Sister Janice? If I came to you and I'm not motivated, what would you tell me?
I would ask you to stop and think about what initially motivated you in the first place and what's changed since then. And one of the reminders that I like to give to members is, sometimes God allows us to feel unmotivated for a specific reason. So it's really important for you to stop and think about, is the path that I chose something that helps me to continue on in my faith as strong as I need to be? Is it something you made a decision, but now you're finding that maybe it's not going to allow me to live the life that I want to lead? That maybe now you're seeing that there's hardships with you trying to attend worship service, or with you trying to continue on in your duties. And therefore now you're seeing a lot more stress, and you're not able to find the time as much as you thought initially that you would be allowed to do in the lifestyle that you chose and in the career you chose. So it's really important to get back to the reasons why you chose that field, and really stop and evaluate, is this really something that I want to continue on with doing? And make sure you spend the time and dedicate yourself to praying as well. And it's not just, praying once or twice. It's really dedicating yourself to make sure that your prayers, the quality of your prayers, continue to be consistent, and that you continue to really put trust and faith in those prayers, because sometimes we just need additional spiritual inspiration as well to help us get through the difficulties that we're facing, because we're always gonna have problems that we have to overcome, like obstacles in our life. That's, as members of the church, that we're no strangers to that. And that's why we find so much peace when we go to worship services and when we pray, because that's where we get our strength from. And it's really important to remember, if you're not feeling motivated, then something needs to change. And that's something that you have the power to take advantage of, and to really stop and think about what your next steps are going to be, because you have that within you to make improvements in your life. And oftentimes it may come down to whether or not you are actually doing something that'll help you, continue to grow in your faith.
I love what you've said to me. And yeah, I mean, just know to the listeners who's out there that this can apply not only because you're a high school student nor a college student, for all of us who's working in the working field. Um, we can apply what Sister Janice had just told us. Another thing that I would want to say is that um, and ask yourself, am I pleasing God? There are times when we get kind of jump off, or yeah, like kind of made us go off the pathway. And so that's one question that you would ask yourself, or ask myself, am I pleasing God? What am I missing? Did I stop doing my duties? Did I, because I wanted to pursue an education? Did I not participate in an activity? It could be things like that. So one is prayer, and the other is ask yourself, am I pleasing God? Because we are here to please God. And so those burning questions that we need to ask ourselves. And when we can bring ourselves back into that pathway, I think, and then continue to pray and ask God for help. Oh, more so than, doors will open wide for us. And
Yeah.
so even having devotional prayers, right, Sister Janice?
Yeah, I wanted to add to, like, the devil is hard at work, and it's really easy to fall into wanting the best things or the nicest things in life
Mm.
materialistically, but that's not always what our goal should be. It really isn't. Life here on earth is very, very short, and we're always striving for salvation, and um, looking forward to finishing our race, and being able to keep that in mind will help you stay motivated, because it'll allow you to understand that what you're feeling, the overwhelmingness, the anxiety, the troubles that you feel in life are very, very tiny, and they're actually very short. It's temporary. Whereas what we're striving for is something that's forever and everlasting. So just keep that in mind. When you do feel less motivated, maybe turn back to your faith, because when it comes down to it, if you have a strong faith, everything else will fall into place.
And that's right, right. I mean, just know that we're gonna feel overwhelmed, sometimes even discouraged, that we cannot go on, but we always, always, always have God to turn to, no matter what. And so, just kind of winding down to our conversation, I'm really enjoying this, Sister Janice. And we have one more that I'd like to ask you. But before we do that, I think we're getting some insights here from Brother Andrew Wynn. He says, pray, tough it out, and finish the semester. Pray and evaluate. Pray, revise your plan, and go for it. And so, okay. So, all right. So let's keep praying on this, on that we continue to stay motivated. And so, um how can our faith help us through through all the different life challenges here?
I think so. One thing to keep in mind is that there's a lot of great resources within the church as well. I know for myself, multiple times, I used to work really closely with quite a few of the ministers back in Hawaii, and you gain a rapport with them as well. And sometimes, even as an officer, as a district officer before, I would feel very overwhelmed trying to figure out how to find a good life balance. And I've had to reach out to ministers oftentimes, because they are such a great spiritual guide when we're thinking about like how can I find a good balance between my faith and what I'm trying to accomplish in my professional or educational um, my goals. And I found that it's a great way for you to not only have your anxieties relieved, but it's a great way for you to build your faith spiritually because they're able to guide you through like actual biblical support, and they are great listeners. So I really do highly recommend, like, even if it's your own minister at your locale, or even if you needed to reach out to someone at the district, there's so many great resources for us, and it's free. But
Yes.
also, in terms of the Kadiwas and the Binhits, think about like we have the Christian Brotherhood International here, I believe, with Sister
Mhm.
Jasmine, and that's a great way for you to get involved. Like you can also help support each other by events through CBI too. I used to help organize the CBI events, and just doing like study sessions or attending meetings together. It's a great way for you to build rapport as well as more friends.
Yeah. Seeking those groups, like you have mentioned, CBI, Christian Brotherhood International. That's a great place to, be at. And we have it here in our district here. And so we just need to ask our resident minister who we can reach out for that. And so, just kind of wrapping up here. So choosing what path to take after high school is one of our most significant decisions. So do your research, gather your as much as information as you can. Speak to those who are professional in these kind of different field of interest, and above all, just include our Almighty God in decision making process. Just know that all our our pathways are unique, different in everyone's timeline. So let's remember to keep our faith. All right. Thank you for this, Sister Janice. And we'd like to move on to recap what has happened in our district of Oregon. And so we're going to first play the October activities recap. Let's play that, Kuya Tex.
Many activities, starting off with our district-wide Unity Games Bowling Edition. Many brethren showed up to share their encouragement for all of our players. On October 19th, the local congregation of Vancouver held their Nature Walk activity. And on October 20th, the INC Chroniclers International Assembly Echo Seminar was held. The amazing film Guerrero Tres was viewed by many brethren in our district in various venues. And on October 19th, the local congregation of Oregon City held their bowling socialization. On October 30th, the district held a Care for Humanity, where brethren prepared care packages for many members of groups, such as the Intellectual Disabilities of St. Helens, Community Action, St. Helens Head Start, and many community members.
Wow, we had quite a bit of activities going on there. And one of our last activities during the month of October, we'd like to just play this, and it was just held on October 30th. So let's play that video on Care for Humanity.
Thank you, Brother June and Sister Yen. The District of Oregon held their Care for Humanity in St. Helens, Oregon, a small town along the north border of the state of Oregon, and home to our group worship service, St. Helens. The brethren, along with members of the community, gathered at the Columbia Center, where the Care for Humanity activity was held. From the preparation of the brethren in our district, we were able to provide care packages to members of various groups. Some of these groups include members from the Intellectual Disabilities of St. Helens, Community Action, St. Helens Head Start, and community members. Our district minister, Brother Moises Kadusale, was able to relay the words of God to all of those who attended, which allowed us to introduce the Church of Christ Iglesianicristo. The brethren from the local congregations in the Portland metro area also attended to unite with the church administration in this Care for Humanity event. All the attendees receiving the care packages felt the love and care shared by the members of the Church of Christ. Events like this really bring people together to help those in need and show that we care about the people in our community. Thank you to our brother Eduardo V. Manalo, our executive minister, and the church administration for allowing us here in our district to hold Care for Humanity events. From the District of Oregon, I am Sister Jillian Pimentel for Worldwide Care for Humanity coverage.
All right. That was a lot of fun for a lot of brethren who went out there to St. Helens. They're in St. Helens, Oregon. All right, we continue to keep doing our activities here in the District of Oregon, and coming up on our activities are on November the 3rd for the local congregation of Beaverton. They'll be having a kite flying and socializing at the Orchard Park. So that's tomorrow. Hopefully, our weather will stay up so that we can fly our kites. If not, just socializing, right? That's fun too. And then in the local congregation of Vancouver, November 9 is Animal Appreciation at the Oregon Zoo. Then on November 10, the Kadiwa and Binhi socializing at the Leroy Hagen Memorial Park. We continue to have more activities here in our district. So keep watch for those announcements, and reach out to your resident minister for any more activities to come. We'd like to say thank you to our brother Eduardo V. Manalo, our executive minister, as well as our brother Angelo Aranio Manalo, our CFO coordinator, SEBC CEO, and president. Thank you so much, Paul, for always your blessing and guidance here, for allowing us to have INC radio platforms. We'd like to say thank you to those who've joined us here on INC Radio Oregon, especially our district minister, Brother Moises Cadosale, our assistant district minister, Brother Gino Ramillo, and the resident ministers and families, as well as all of you have joined us there in our live chat. So join us again next week for another episode. And we'd like to ask for you to please share this program link with your friends and loved ones. Let's subscribe to INC Radio DZM 954 on YouTube. And next up is INC Radio Alaska. Thank you so much and have a great weekend, everyone. Bye-bye now.